Hi, it's Nicki here, and I am back with another of my top 10 lists. Now the rain has just started crashing down outside, so hopefully it's not going to affect the video too badly, but I may have to refilm if it's too noisy, but we'll see how we go. That's what you get for having a tin roof, it just bounces off there. Anyway, today I thought for the top 10 I would share my top 10 celebrity crushes. Yes, indeed. I should point out straight away that there are more than 10. This was a really hard list to narrow down. Some of the others I've sort of scribbled off my top 10 in like 2 seconds, and this one I was like, oh, do I like him more than him? Do I like her more than her? Difficult one. So I actually have a little book. It's a little sort of, what about A6 notebook, in which every time I get a new celebrity crush or character crush, sometimes they're combined, a little picture goes in my book, and my husband's pretty understanding about it. It just sits in my drawer. Oops, I'm throwing my pages away. 1 second. That's better. Okay. So, without further ado, I will start us off, and in the number 1 spot is Tom Hiddleston. Yes, the beautiful Tom Hiddleston. Amazing actor as well as good looking. I first saw him in The Hollow Crown. That's the first thing where he really jumped out at me. I think I had seen 1 or 2 things before that, but when he played Prince Hal in The Hollow Crown, oh, how in love with Hal I was at that moment. Sweet wag. It was then that I discovered he'd done superhero films. I'd never watched Marvel before then, really, apart from catching the odd bit on TV. And so really Tom Hiddleston has turned me into the MCU fangirl that I am today. So I went back and watched all his backlist, but his work's amazing. Things like Unrelated, if you haven't watched Unrelated, you've got to watch that. And Archipelago as well, Deep Blue Sea. And obviously he's done a lot of big blockbusters more recent years, but some of those really early films he did, a bit more indie, beautiful films, and definitely check them out. Number 2 is Michael Fassbender. I can't really think of when I first knew Michael Fassbender. I mean, I guess it was probably seeing things like Jane Eyre and then X-Men First Class that really turned me onto him and made me go and watch all his backlist of films. With most of these crushes it happens like that. I see them in something and fall in love with them and then have to go back and watch everything they've done. I mean, he's done some amazing big blockbusters. I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed. Although I don't think Prometheus and Alien Covenant are perfect films, his portrayal of David 8 in them was. But some of my favourite films of his are things like Shame. If you haven't seen Shame, that's another indie drama that it's an amazing film, and he is just perfect. Light Between Oceans, Macbeth, some fantastic work he's done alongside the big blockbusters in which he's also fantastic, of course. Number 3, Daniel Gillies. So Daniel's also done some great stuff. I haven't seen Saving Hope yet, still on my list, but he's done some wonderful films like Broken Kingdom, Captivity. I think it's called Captive or Captivity? Captivity, I think. But of course, you know him best as Elijah Michelson in the originals of Vampire Diaries. And it was as Elijah that I first fell in love with him. The voice he does as Elijah and his bearing, just be still my heart. Number 4, Benedict Cumberbatch. Benedict Cumberbatch is one of those people that crept up on me when I least expected it. At first I was like, oh, he's great as Sherlock, which is when he first came to my attention, but you know, he's a bit strange looking. But then the more you watch him, and you're like, there's just something about him. And he is, again, an amazing actor. I mean, most of my celebrity crushes, I'm just kind of flicking through the list. I mean, all of them are not just there for their looks, they're all really brilliant actors as well. And where was I? Benedict Cumberbatch, yes. So he's done some great stuff. Parade's End is amazing, if you haven't seen that. Obviously he's done quite a few more blockbusters recently, but again, some of the early work, as with most of these actors, some of their early work when they were doing smaller budget indie films, it's all well worth watching if you don't know it. Which brings us to the middle of the list, number 5, Mads Mikkelsen. Mads is Danish, so he's becoming quite popular in Hollywood these days, having done things like Hannibal and then gone into play the bad guy in Doctor Strange, did some Star Wars. But a lot of my favourite stuff of Mass's work is his Danish stuff. He's done some wonderful films with Susan Bier, some great comedies with Thomas Anders Jensen. Things like The Green Butchers is just hilarious. You've got to see that if you haven't seen that film. And one of my favourite, Adam's Apples, is great comedy. And things like The Royal Affair and Open Hearts, After the Wedding, some of the Danish dramas, all well worth seeing. Really brilliant actor. Number 6 is George Blagden. Now George, most of you may know him as Athelstan in Vikings. More recently he's been playing Louis XIV in the French but English language series Versailles, which is amazing. Again, he's done some really nice little films in the past as well, and I'm looking forward. He's got a few more coming, I think, soon, so I'm looking forward to that and seeing some more Versailles, because I've only seen season 1, but the season 2's around. I'm just waiting for them to show it here in Australia, and season 3 is now filming, so lots to look forward to with George. Great singer as well. If you haven't heard him sing, he was Grantaire in the film of Les Miserables, the musical film, but he's done a few covers and some great stuff that you can find if you have a look around online. Number 7, JJ Field. JJ came to my attention when he played John Andre in Turn, and then again I went back, saw all his backlist. I hadn't realised till then that I had seen him play Henry Tilney in Northanger Abbey, which I loved anyway. Austenland's great, you've got to see Austenland, and Not Safe for Work as a sort of low budget thriller, which is also worth seeing. Number 8, Misha Collins, who's of course best known for playing Castiel in Supernatural. He's done 1 or 2 other things. He did a little series of his own that he worked on called Divine, which is, it was available online. If it still is, you should check that out. But I mean, Castiel was absolutely my favourite character in Supernatural from the moment he came in on into the future. I love Misha. And he's so funny. If you don't follow him on social media, YouTube and that, you really should, because he posts some hilarious stuff. He's a great guy. Number 9 is Jude Law. I love Jude Law. He's a great actor. I enjoy his Shakespeare. If you haven't seen him do any Shakespeare, check that out. He does a really eclectic mix of films as well, from the big blockbusters to these little lesser known things. I mean, things like The Holiday I love him in as a rom-com. I thought he was great in AI. As I said, his Shakespeare's brilliant, and I quite liked him. I thought he was the best thing in the recent King Arthur movie. So yeah, Jude Law, gotta love Jude. And number 10, Aidan Turner. This was a contentious spot, because there were quite a few contenders for it, but Aidan Turner gets it mainly because of Poldark recently. If you don't know him from Poldark, you'll also know him. He played Killy in The Hobbit, the dwarf, who was in love with Tauriel, the elf. And he was also in Being Human, the original Being Human, the UK good one, not the rubbish US one. So yeah, check out some of his stuff as well, because he's brilliant. Now, it did occur to me that in this list of 10, it's all guys. And there are actually some women that I have a little celebrity crush on too. And I thought it was a bit unfair that they didn't quite make it into the top 10 spot. So I thought, just to round off and finish, I'll do my top 3 celebrity crushes for women. So number 1 is Liv Tyler. I mean, who doesn't love Liv Tyler? She's absolutely gorgeous, especially as Arwen in Lord of the Rings. That was when I first got my little crush on her, but she's done some other really good work as well. Number 2, Scarlett Johansson. Again, you've got to love everything she does, whether she's looking like sexy in these skimpy little outfits doing kick-ass like Black Widow and Ghost in the Shell, or when she's doing really great indie dramas, things like Lost in Translation. Very versatile actress, gorgeous. And finally, Kate Beckinsale, who never seems to age. Has anyone noticed that? You see her in films that she did 10 years ago, and you see her in films she's doing now, she looks exactly the same. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of magic or spell or something going on there, but she's gorgeous, you know, very sexy as Celine in the Underworld films, but then also great in period dramas, just looking beautiful with her curls. So I will end there. That's my current top 10 plus 3 celebrity crushes, and I will be back to share more of my favourite things with you next time. But before I go, what about you guys? Who are you crushing on in terms of actors, singers, whatever? Tell me in the comments below. Bye for now.